level up your leadership. And I am happy today about where we're going. So, how does it happen that we help leaders level up your leadership? Well, when you learn to leverage your strengths, the best of who you are, navigate weaknesses, we all have them. And in case you were thinking, I'm trying to make my weaknesses my strengths, forget it. It doesn't happen. Focus in on building your strengths and building your resilience. Resilience is a power that helps you persevere and push through obstacles, detours, distractions in your life that get in the way of you living your life. They get in the way of your success. Yes. These three elements, strengths, weaknesses, and resilience, are keys to equip, engage, and elevate you forward on your path to success. How does that success show up for you? What does it look like? Here are three clear ways to measure it. An improvement in your performance, number one, and that's the performance of you and your team or organization, whatever the case may be, and how you choose to track it, because it's totally up to you. Two, an increase in productivity. Performance, productivity. You know, well, maybe you don't know. However, consider this. If you're in manufacturing, how many widgets did you produce? How many bottles of shampoo did you produce? How many tubes of lipstick did you produce? If you're in a service business, how many clients did you serve? What was your repeat business like? And put time parameters around it. And thirdly, growth in your prosperity potential. That's performance, productivity, and prosperity potential. Now, prosperity potential really is more encompassing than just focusing on profits or your bottom line, because prosperity potential takes into consideration the non-monetary ways of measuring your success, which ultimately comes down to a stronger bottom line. How are you positioning yourself to do more of what it is you're passionate about, that you're bringing to the table? These three measures help you monitor your path forward for what you want, on purpose, with intention, and on your terms. As your show host, coach, connector, and convener of leaders, Dr. Helen Speaks is a resource to support you in how to optimize your leadership, your life, and your legacy through your strengths. Do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? This is a regular question I ask because it's a powerful question to get your juices flowing, to help you consider and focus on what you do best. How does your best show up for you? In what ways are you experiencing what life is like when you're in your zone of purpose, potential, and power? Are you living, experiencing your best life ever? I want that for you. That's why I show up here every week, because I want you to live your best life ever by leveling up the best of who you are. That's your leadership. At Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, we focus on an innovative, heart-head focused approach that works to help you achieve more success, less stress, and greater joy in life. Nothing stays the same. Change is the only constant we know. And over the years, we've learned that deep down inside of you lives your heart's desire for what you want. Coaching is one of those skills, tools, endeavors you embark upon to help you really get to that place and figure it out. How do you want to show up as a leader? You know yourself, or do you really? Your higher power, and for me, that's God, helps you to deepen your awareness and engagement with your best self, because we all have one. And it's here that your deepest truths about what you want are revealed. It's where transformation begins, personally and professionally. Simply, it's the center of your secret sauce that makes you unique in what you do to impact the world with your brilliance. Communication and engagement are critical to your ability to connect with other people. They're effective ways you can begin to level up your leadership. Think of it in terms of your personal why. What gets you up in the morning doing what you do, wanting to make a difference in the world? Your purpose, passion, and calling for what you love to do create your unique path for you to be seen, heard, and impactful. How you engage with yourself and communicate with others is what sets you apart from anyone else. When you have a genuine sense of belonging, developing deep relationships with people is where the world gets to connect with you at your best. This is a power source to guide you on the path to be more successful with less stress and greater satisfaction, peace, and joy in your life and those you love. Think about it. When you're happier with your life and where you are and where you're headed, it rubs off on people. They want some of that too. So my personal commitment to you is to help you bring your best self, your A game for the world to experience. And it's here where we support, guide, and coach you through to connect and engage deeply. This lives in the realm of professional talent development and personal growth. That is what we bring to this platform every week. So today we're moving on to level 5, where our focus is on what it means to reach the peak of leadership. The 5 levels we've been taking you through over the last few weeks are taken from John Maxwell's book, Develop the Leader Within You 2.0. 2.0 because he wrote the book years ago, and as I said, nothing stays the same. He looked at how things were changing and evolving in the world of leaders and leadership and did a refresh. We're touching the surface on the nuggets of opportunity to wet your whistle for more. Leadership, in a word, is about influence. What does it mean to have influence? It means that people look up to you. They follow you. They want to do the things that you do. They like what they see. They're thinking to themselves, you ever find yourself, yeah, I'd like to have more of that show up for me in my life, whatever that may be. These 5 levels are a path forward for you to awaken and unleash the leader of influence that lives in you. So we're going to recap the highlights of levels 1 to 4. Level 1 is about position. This is your entry into leadership. You have a title or position. That is the least important part of developing your leadership. So don't let it go to your head. This is your entry ticket into leadership. Don't overthink it. Use it to leverage you forward. Begin to develop and own your excellence in your role. Do more than the minimum required. Be curious. Ask questions to learn from others. The leaders you admire and aspire to follow, those in your organization, those in your contact list, those in organizations to which you belong and show up. Yeah. It gives you a title or right of leadership. You've not gained any influence yet. You're just beginning. You've been launched at the starting gate. People follow you because they have to, and it's the beginning of your ascent or climb to greater leadership or real leadership. Level 2, it's all about permission. This level is about relationships. Learn to value the people you encounter, all the people you work with, come in contact with to help you do what you do. They each have something to teach you, just like you have something to teach others. Fair exchange is no robbery. Leaders complete assignments with and through people, not by checking off your list of tasks to get done. This is your opportunity to understand people and build relationships. People begin to follow follow you because they want to. They don't feel obligated to follow you like they do in position one. You're building relationships with people, and they now want to follow you. It's something they choose to do because of how you value and serve them. Level 3 is all about production. Production produces results. This is the midpoint on the ascent to mastery, because if you aren't producing some sort of output, yes, you've got to produce something. It's a critical point. This is where leaders above begin to notice, and people who you lead want to follow you because you're making things happen. This is the level of leadership where your mastery of levels 1 and 2 begin to pay off. It's here where your momentum takes off. Your professional development and personal growth are evident to you and to the people who watch and follow you. Your loyalty begins to grow here. Level 4 is about empowering people to grow. It's all about reproduction, replicating. This level is how you develop others. Just as others have helped to develop you, this is your opportunity to pour into others who want to grow, who want to be leaders. Oh, and by the way, you want to replicate the good that you do and bring to the world. Professional development and personal growth of the people you lead is a reflection of how others have led you well. And you're better equipped and prepared to now pay it forward. Talent development of the people you lead is about reproduction. Now, I will tell you, I spent, a little over 2 decades as a leader, as an elected leader, as a member of the Baltimore City Council. And it was always about helping people, equipping them to get things done. And since I left that role, I continue to do this. You see, when you value people and want to serve people, it's like the secret sauce that gets you to where you want to be. It still happens today. I attended a fundraiser for a newly created organization recently, and I ran into people I literally had not seen in years. And they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. What are you doing? You were such a great leader." And then as we continue in conversation, I realize, yes, I've influenced people. That's what makes people want to follow you and connect with you and know what you're up to and how can they engage with you on a deeper level. Reconnecting and relationship building, all of these things, they matter. They make a difference. Now, before we take a deeper dive into level 5, I want you to grab your note-taking device, pen and paper, tablet, computer, the back of an envelope. Hold on to it if it's the back of an envelope. You don't want to lose the insights, the nuggets, that aha moments that you gain that you want to follow up on. Yeah. And when you do that, this helps to empower you to think, be, and do more. And I'm a firm believer of writing things down, especially those nuggets that really touch you and have impact for you. Funny story. I was talking to my mother and I was running an errand for her, and she's like, "Well, let me give you some money for it." I said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get it later." "Well, no, I said, "Hey, look, this is what I know. As long as you owe me, I'll never be broke." Hey, fair exchange is no robbery, and giving more than what you get in the moment always comes back to you in deeper and greater ways than when you did a good thing for someone else. So level 5 is about reaching the peak. To reach the peak of leadership, you have to master levels 2, 3, and 4. How do you develop that mastery? You practice them every day so that it naturally becomes a way of being, of how you show up in the world. It is highly dependent on your trust and respect for yourself and others. Think about it. In the famous play written by Shakespeare, Hamlet, it was in one of his soliloquies that he penned these words: "To thine own self be true." If you hope to be true to anyone in this life, it begins with the truth in here. What are you really truthful about? How are you really impacting people and changing lives? How are you helping your life grow and develop? It begins in here, in your heart. That's, think of it this way: what the feelings and desires and ways of supporting others that begin in your heart move to your head, that thinking thing that processes information without feeling. It just processes information you give it, which is why I'm on a personal quest, learning more about how the brain functions and operates and shows up for leaders and makes a difference in helping you to reach the peak, level 5. So let's talk about respect for a moment. I had something occur the other day. It was an unpleasant experience with a food delivery service, that I was doing a good thing for someone else, delivering them food. I wasn't able to stop and go get it. And I said, "Oh, let me have it delivered to you." And it didn't work out well. I ended up having to go and correct it myself, because it meant that much for me to deliver what was needed to someone else, and I had the ability to do it. However, I want you to know, I'm not always this cool, calm, and collected. I got upset and I started calling the restaurant. And then they're like, "Oh, well, we can't do anything about that. You have to call the delivery service." And I made, and in my frustration, as I'm going through the machination, they hung up on me. Oh my, they hung up on me. I couldn't believe it. And then I had to stop and bring my level 8 down to a level 2 and process what transpired. I was really working to right what felt to me personally like an injustice. And I realized that's not how leaders show up. And when I called back, of course, they didn't answer. They caller ID, they didn't answer. Good thing I have more than one phone. So I called on another line and they picked up the phone, same person. And I said, "Hello." And in a calm voice began to ask for forgiveness, to apologize for my emotions being out of control, and that I wanted to connect, to share what I was feeling and the inconvenience and the investment I made to do a good thing that went awry. And the person on the other end of the line listened and explained the process, that until I get in touch with the delivery provider, that there was nothing that they could do. Caught up in systems. You've been there before. What a difference it made. And then I was able to calmly reach out to the delivery company and explain what happened, and to make some adjustments, and to talk about customer service. I'm in the service business to make a difference in people's lives, to help them be affirmed and not disrespected. And I've learned apologizing is not a bad thing to do. It's about respect that opens your ears and mind to hear what may be lost in a heated conversation. Back to respect. My colleague, Paul Mashenko, helped me to see how respect is a transformational power in life and how it shows up in the space of culture. Because there were some cultural differences going on there. Today, culture is one of the most misunderstood realities of life. It's that part of who we are by nature and nurture. It guides our actions and reactions to just about everything and everyone we encounter. Consider that. In Paul's book, The Respect Effect, he shares a perspective on respect and culture coexisting together that's pretty profound. And he writes, respect is an active process of non-judgmentally engaging people from all backgrounds. It is practiced to increase our awareness and effectiveness and demonstrate it in a manner that esteems both us and those with whom we interact. Wow. Now, as you let that sink in, consider what it feels like when you use this approach. It's not easy to master, and it requires daily practice. This is key if you truly aspire to reach the peak of leadership. We all have biases, conscious and unconscious. How we attend to them helps us reach the peak. When you live with an earnest desire to embrace truthfully and with respect every person you encounter and engage in any type of communication, it matters. How truthful are you with them? Can you put yourself in their shoes and imagine what you say, what you do, and how you treat them? How does it make you feel? As I shared, I felt pretty bad after the phone was hung up on me. And it allowed me to stop and think about my behavior. And was that behavior fitting of a leader? No, I allowed my emotions to get the better of me because I cared about what I was attempting to do, and it went awry. That's life. It happens. What I know is this: I'm not able to fully appreciate a warm, sunny day without a chilly, cold, rainy day. Perspective. Reaching the peak of leadership at the highest level is based on reputation. Leaders who rise to the challenge and reach the peak are a rare breed. They've moved beyond just leading. And I don't say this lightly, and by no means do I take it casually, and I don't want you to either. It's anything other than that. This is a level few people reach and many aspire towards. Jim Rohn, a successful entrepreneur, coach, and speaker, said, motivation is what gets you started. Commitment is what keeps you going. If you want to reach this level 5, it's commitment and resilience that will support you along the way. Not only will they support you, they're going to be the ingredients that make it happen. Who are some of the leaders that have reached the peak? Nelson Mandela in government. I mean, in other areas too, but he was the impetus to transform the South African government to be more inclusive across cultural barriers. Martin Luther King Jr. in social justice activism. Me, a Black woman, where would I be without the fight led by Martin Luther King Jr.? Yes. Mother Teresa in her selfless ministry to the poor in India. What is it that's at the Statue of Liberty? Our humble masses yearning to be free? Having something to eat, a place to lay your head? Yeah, that's freedom. Aristotle, a leader in education and philosophy. They lived in a space of rare air. There are not many that rise to this level. It is definitely not for the faint at heart or those not willing to put in the work. By the way, putting in the work is part of the fulfillment of life they attained along the way. They didn't all live to see the outcome of their labors. But you and I, we live because of the work that they did as leaders. Is level 5 leadership something you should aspire to achieve? Absolutely. Does it mean you'll get there? Not necessarily, because it's hard work. You really got to put it in. Your reputation, respect, and trust from others as a leader begins in relationship building. That's level 2. How well equipped are you as a leader? What leaders do you follow? Do you learn from? Let them know. Leaders don't stop to ask people, am I a good leader? No, it's not their priority. Level 5 leaders are focused on how they value you, respect you, treat you, help to make your life better. When you give serious consideration to what you want for your life, for your leadership, it really happens when you are consistent about going after it. This is where the TBD effect kicks in. Think, be, and do more. Now, you may be saying to yourself, what more can I do? I'm doing all of these things. And that's the question I'm asking you. What more can you do to develop your leadership, to build your legacy? As a strengths, resilience, and leadership coach of Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, we are here and show up each week as a resource to help you get to where you want to be. We want you to operate with your A game. And one of the ways we do this is by showing up here every week to empower you, to motivate you, to inspire you, to want you to make a difference. And all those other things you want will come along with it. Every day I remind myself daily that everything in life rises and falls on leadership. It keeps me humble, honest with myself, focused on my mission, honing my values, and doing the things I do to help leaders develop themselves and those they lead. When you become a better leader, it positions you to do the same for the people you lead. Here's a learned truth. If you aren't learning from other leaders who know more than you, how well positioned are you as a leader? What do you do to continually grow and develop your leadership? None of us are born as great leaders or even good leaders. However, we can become great leaders with commitment, investment, and intention to grow and develop other people. Yes. I'm Dr. Helen Holton, host of Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. We're here every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time and 1 p.m. Eastern time, to help you be the best leader you can be. What are you doing to develop you as a leader to move to level 5? Join the community of Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. You can find us here on the Win-Win Women TV network and catch our replays on Roku TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, where together will work with you to live your best life ever, doing what you show up to do and make a difference in the world.